Hi everyone, it's Anthony from Showcase, and I'm going to guide you through what GDPR means for you and your website, because it's a question I'm getting asked quite a lot at the moment, and I've got this short presentation for you. Basically, GDPR breaks down into 5 areas. The first being communication. It's about being clear on what you collect and why you're collecting the data you're after. And most importantly, using plain English rather than legalese. It's about gaining consent, so get clear and obvious consent and understand that some people may be younger than the age of consent in the UK, so you need to speak to a GDPR professional to work out how to overcome that potential issue. It's about providing access to the data you store on your data subjects. It's about allowing data subjects, i.e. your website users, to opt into future marketing. So they can't be opted in by default, they need to opt in deliberately. And it's about safeguarding the information you collect from your data subjects. Nowadays, you need to have certain documentation available on your website as of the 25th of May. The first of those is your privacy policy, which outlines who you are, what you intend to do with the information you collect from your users, and how you intend to store it. Then we have a cookie policy, which outlines the cookies that are used on your website. I'll talk about cookies some more in a moment. And gives the user the option to opt out of certain non-essential cookies being used on the website. You need to have a terms of use in place, which basically says that it's illegal to hack this website, because until that point, because you've not specified that you don't want people to do it, it's not actually illegal to hack the website and therefore jeopardize any information that is gained through the website. If you provide online sales of any kind, then you should have a terms of sale in place which outlines the information you collect on the checkout, why you intend to use it, because it may be different from that collected elsewhere on the site. So all the documentation should be very, very clear. One of the ways that we do that is by grouping the information into what we call accordions online. So that enables us to have section headers, and within each section we have areas of text which are hidden by default, but as soon as people want to look into it, they can access it really easily, and that means that it makes the whole document much more accessible. We've all been on websites where you've had a pop-up potentially which says, by continuing you automatically agree to our terms and conditions, and to be honest, I don't think anybody's ever read those terms and conditions, so this is the best way around that. Here's an example of an accordion that we have on the new cookie policy on the Showcase website. So here's a section, and here's the first tab of the accordion that's open. We can change that to this section if we want to know about that, or this one, this one, this one. So that's an accordion and how we would use one of those. We then need to have internal page links which will help users of your web page to find the content that they're most interested in. So in the example of our page, at the beginning of the documentation, we have a table of contents, and this jumps down the page to the section that's most relevant to what people are looking to find. We also have a scroll back to the top option, which allows them to easily find the table of contents section again. The information should always be accessible across any page of your website. So that means if somebody's on a page where they suddenly have a query about how you're going to use the data you want to collect, then there should be a link to that, to the relevant documentation in the footer at least of the website. And the contact details in your documentation should always be up to date in case there is a query on what it is you're looking to collect and why. Contact forms too, really common across the web. On most websites you have a contact form. Nowadays we're going to be looking to have an opt-in for any future marketing, which covers off point 4 of the key areas, and basically means that the people that you have on your mailing list are there deliberately and they've requested to be on that mailing list. You also need to consider the information that you set as required when you are creating your contact form. So at the moment you can ask pretty much any amount of information to do with a contact form online, and for instance you can say, send us a message, give us your email address and your phone number and your company name and the name of your company, and we'll get back to you. You can set those all to required. Going forward, it's much more important and you need to be much more considered as to what information is required to submit the form. So if it's an email inquiry, you can probably make the email field required, but not necessarily the telephone number, as that's deemed more invasive than email. And you need to consider where the data is going once the form is submitted. Is it going into a communal inbox? Is it going into an inbox only you have access to? Or is it going straight into a CRM, customer relationship management system, which helps keep that information contained and control who has access to it? We touched on cookies earlier, and cookies are basically small text files that are used by websites to help make a user's experience more efficient. Cookies can often be used to personalize the content in terms of ads or products that are tracked so that they know they're relevant to you, or they can be used for analytical purposes, statistical data on where you came from to land on this website, or what device you're using to view the website on. Now, the law states that cookies can be used if they are essential to the functionality of the website or application, but then there's also non-essential cookies which we will now need permission to use going forward. So for instance, Google Analytics is a non-essential cookie. It's there for tracking purposes, so people will be allowed to opt out of being part of your Google Analytics tracking going forward. Whereas a session ID, it can be debated as to whether it's 100% essential at the moment. We're waiting for clarification on that, but typically websites that you need to log into to access content use a session ID in order to prove that you've logged into the website, and therefore it could be deemed that that would be essential. We're still waiting clarification on that. So we've just registered as a reseller for Cookiebot. Now Cookiebot is the most advanced solution we've found to tackling a number of these GDPR related cookie issues. What it does is it scans your website. It enables you then to use that information to add the information on the cookies into your cookie policy, and it also provides an option for turning off the cookies which are not opted into by visitors. So there'll be more information coming out on this from us in the very near future. So your checklist for your specific website would be: add the consent field into your contact forms. I personally recommend integrating your website, or your contact forms at least, with a customer relationship management system so you can control where the data goes and who has access to those records. And you can also quite easily allow customers or data subjects, to access that data and opt out from being kept on file. Implement a cookie banner, so I'll show you an example of one in just a moment. And make sure you get all the relevant legal documentation on your website as quickly as possible, and then speak to a GDPR professional about what you need to do after the data has been collected via your website. Now, to show you an example of some of the stuff that we're implementing here at Showcase, as you can see, we have the cookie banner, which shows details on what cookies are being used on the website. So these are the essential ones: statistical, marketing, and random. And then once we've accepted that, that goes away. We've also implemented some more information on our contact form, so I can send to Showcase using my details to respond to my query and for opting into future marketing. You should also have a link to your privacy policy in or around your contact form as well. And we are in the process of creating the cookie policy page, which you've just seen a moment ago. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email at anthony@showcasewebdevelopment.co.uk for more information on how you can overcome GDPR on your website. Hope to speak to you soon. Bye.